I just finished watching episode 1 of Aeronautica Imperialis. Ignorance Leads Death. Now, that show is Games Workshop's vision of aerial combat in the 41st millennium. Here's the 5 things that I loved about Aeronautica Imperialis. Number 5, vertical takeoff thunderbolts. You'll hear me bring this up in the other video that you didn't click on, the things I hated about Aeronautica Imperialis. But in fact, I love the fact that the Thunderbolt is a vertical takeoff airplane. It is cool. It's super British. It's super Harrier, but it looks cool in the movie. Number 4, Eldari that are not robots with skin. There's a quick cut scene with the Eldari pilot interacting with his ancestors. And the great thing is, there's a little bit of emotion. There's questions. There's thought there. They're not just there to kill the monkey and drive them from the planet. So I actually enjoy this. There might be a good storyline, even with all of the other weirdness that's going to go on. There might be a good Eldari storyline. Number 3, Adeptus Mechanicus Flak, or as I have summarized, my machine farts rocks in your general direction. Because literally, it's a cool, crazy, grim, dark aesthetic detail that these mining machines suddenly stop mining rocks and start throwing them at the Eldari as they attack. Okay, GW, you get cool points for that one. Number 2, also the small details, not just the grimdark aesthetic, which I think they did very well. There's re-entry flare when the aircraft first approach the planet. There's grime and grit everywhere. There's grime inside the helmets and the visors. It's some of the grimdark aesthetic that is frustrating, but it's the attention to detail that's in there. When you look at the posters on the wall, when you see the maps, when you see the Aeronautica Imperialis orders, there's a level of detail, that small detail that makes it actually a very immersive movie, even though it's animated, and even though some of the flying, you'll hear in the other video, may not have been my favorite thing. But what's my number one thing I loved the most about Aeronautica Imperialis? It's the technology. It isn't removed. The airplane doesn't have a skull that vomits out a piece of tape that has your orders on it. No, they have an auspex. Their auspex shows them targets in 360 degrees. When they are past intelligence, they receive it on a data slate. So it's still grimdark. It's still that Warhammer 40K aesthetic, but not taken to a stupid level that you see in some of the art and some of the lore of 40K. Things that just don't make sense. Why would you have an airplane give you a paper tape response? But it's still done in a way that's grim, dark. Sure, I would prefer it was if it wasn't all gothic and all the buildings didn't look exactly the same, but still, very good job integrating the technology in there, even though you'll hear in my video, the 5 things I hated, there's a few technological pieces that were left out. Maybe they'll show up later in a later episode. I certainly hope so. But what's the bottom line? The bottom line is this was an Aeronautica Imperialis video brought to life. So GW was thinking about Aeronautica Imperialis. Does this mean there's another release around the corner? I certainly hope so. I hope there's a re-release of a lot of the Xenos aircraft and a lot of the other factions that need to be brought back from just the area we are now of 30K Aeronautica Imperialis. But until then, if you're not flying hard, you're hardly flying.